Hi everyone, Janie here. Welcome back to my garden and welcome to the next installment in my Show Me Your Garden series. In this series, I asked you all to send in photos and videos of your gardens all over the country and really all over the world, and to let me know what zones you garden in. And my goal for this series was to separate all of these inspiration photos into different videos of zones so that whatever zone you garden in, you can check out that video and get a ton of inspiration. What I didn't plan on was how much inspiration we all were gonna get from all the different zones. I had just planned that everyone was gonna watch their own zone video and that was gonna be it. But I am getting so much inspiration from all of your other zones, and a lot of you have said in the comments that you've been watching the other zones and you're getting a ton of inspiration from them as well. So that was just a happy accident. It's really I'm just glad it's turning out so well. And I just want to thank you all for submitting all of your gardens because you are inspiring all of us. So I do want to say it's very, very dark today. It's gonna rain today, so my lighting is way off. So just wanted to say that to you all if you all are wondering why it looks so dark in this video today. All right, let's get started. So the first garden in zone 7 I wanted to share with you all is Allison's garden. And Allison gardens in southern New Jersey, zone 7A. And I have had a lot of questions about the difference between A and B zones. And the difference is 5 degrees Fahrenheit. So the USDA zones divides out the country into areas based on the coldest they get. So zone 7, the coldest zone 7A gets is 5 degrees Fahrenheit. The coldest zone 7B gets is 10 degrees Fahrenheit. So it is just a 5 degrees difference, and then the numbers are basically 10 degrees difference. So I hope that makes sense. It's all very close, and it all, take everything with a grain of salt. The zones are not very specific, but that's just how we do it and how we divide it up. So in Allison's New Jersey 7A garden, I asked her to tell me what plants thrive in her garden. And she says echinacea, phlox, and ordinary old vinca flowers are no work at all, and she loves their glossy green leaves. One thing she did point out is for her phlox, this past year, she switched to Proven Winners Luminary Opalescence, and she said it blew her mind. She said she has dealt with powdery mildew issues in the past on phlox, and this variety is bred to not get powdery mildew, and she said that there was no issues with powdery mildew this past year, and she had so many flushes of blooms. She said it was outstanding. So that's really good advice for those of you who deal with powdery mildew on phlox. I asked Allison what her biggest challenges were in the garden, and she says voles, they make me want to cry. Same with my mom, she's dealing with the same thing, Allison. And then her advice for other zone 7 gardeners is to try anything you like the look of. She says she feels our area is suitable to so many different plants, you just never know. So let me show you a picture of Allison's garden. It is beautiful. I love her deck, and I love how she's planted this garden bed all around her deck. You can tell that this picture was taken a little bit earlier in that season because her hydrangeas are not completely bloomed out yet, but you can see she's got the echinacea, she's got the alliums, she's got some beautiful buddleia over here. There's that Russian sage she was talking about behind the buddleia. And then I even see crepe myrtle in the back. I just loved the mix of these plants. I just thought that they were so very pretty. So then here's another picture. So pretty. And then you can see she also has some new plants coming up. I'm not sure what they are. There's some vinca, some beautiful vinca right there. I just love it. It's not a big garden. It's not a big space, but she's really, really taking advantage of it. Here it looks like a little bit later on in the season, all of her hydrangeas have started blooming. They look beautiful, more echinacea, and then that looks like lemon coral sedum right there. That's just popping with that chartreuse green color. And then here's another view. Allison, I just love the combination that you chose for your garden. It's really, really pretty. It's really bright colors, but it's really soft colors. So you did a fantastic job. It's beautiful. And I love that you put in that little tip about the phlox because I'm sure that's gonna help a ton of people. So thank you so much for sending these in, Allison. Next garden for zone 7 is from Deborah. Deborah gardens in Zone 7B, Smyrna, Georgia, and she actually is a YouTuber. She has a channel called Inspiring Garden Corner with a K. And again, I will link all of the content creators' channels down below, whether it's YouTube or Instagram or Facebook, whatever anyone provides me with, I'll link it down below. So if you want to follow them for more inspiration, I would suggest that. So Deborah's garden, I asked her about the plants that thrive in her Zone 7 garden in Georgia, and she says heirloom roses, limelight prime, sunshine ligustrum, proven winter petunias, purple hearts, zinnias, cosmos, dahlias, and daffodils. One plant that she can't grow because it just doesn't work in her area, and she says Scotch heather. And then she says, the biggest challenge that she faces in her garden is herself. She strives for protection and she doesn't like loose ends, so she tends to work until she's done. And I completely get that, Deborah. I have worked until it's completely black outside because I just want to finish. Right? I have a hard time stopping and then I'm sore the next day. So I'm right there with you. We need to work on that. And the piece of advice that Deborah would give to other Zone 7 gardeners is plant what you love and take into consideration the amount of time you have to invest to maintain it. Good advice. That is one thing that I'm definitely noticing with this bigger area. I can't baby a whole bunch of plants anymore. I have to kind of just plant them and they need to kind of fend for themselves a little bit. I'll take care of them a little bit, but that is really good advice. So Deborah sent in a video. Let me play it now.
All right, we're gonna start on this end of the backyard garden. Look at the hydrangeas. The two in the front are the lime primes that, as you can see, has that pink color blended in with the chartreuse. Everything is just looking so very good. Everything is just looking amazing. This is the new area that we put in where I had to take the Texas Vertex out, but the crepe myrtle is doing well and already has new growth on it. As you can see, you got new growth and you can also see new buds coming on. So that is just going to look absolutely gorgeous. And then my new plants that I had put in here are doing very nicely. Those there are my quick fires that are doing amazing, and how the roses are just poking through. Oh, everything just looks so gorgeous. Here is another crepe myrtle that we planted last fall. Look at that. I just love that pop of color. Now they are messy, but you know what? I don't care. I take the blower to it and get those flower petals up, but it's just absolutely beautiful. And my roses are doing well. The container, and as quickly as I deadhead them, you know, new flushes come on. Look at that hydrangea. That is my strawberry vanilla that is just growing through the fence. My straw flowers are doing good. My black-eyed Susies, I swear I love them. That pop of color is just so beautiful. And then this is the other with my roses. And now mind you, I trimmed these roses back probably about 2 weeks ago. And look at all that new growth. That's why I love roses, especially knockout roses. And my vanilla strawberries are looking good. And then this one here, I swear I so love Annabelle's. These guys are just beautiful. They're just now starting to turn that chartreuse green. The vanilla strawberries are supposed to turn pink, but with this humidity that we've been having, it started off turning pink, and then, you know, as you can see, you got the brown on there, but still, this area is just so lush. Okay, and this is a new addition to my garden. It's called Rockin' Low Boogie Woogie. It is a part of the sedum family. Look at that. And then it gets these gorgeous little yellow flowers on it. And like I said, you know, especially with the Georgia heat, I am really trying to focus on plants that are heat tolerant and don't require a lot of maintenance because of my schedule. Oh, everything is just looking so nice. My Confederate rose bush, I don't have any blooms yet, but it is growing so very nicely. And then look at this, guys. I so love these purple hearts. Look at those delicate flowers on there. They're just so pretty, and they're hardy. Of the area of the hydrangeas, I have a lemon one over here that is doing very, very nicely. And then my little limelight that I'm up on the hill. This thing is probably about almost 6 foot tall. And just look how full it is. And then guys, look at my crepe myrtles. Oh, I just so love these guys. And I have variations of color of them. I got the soft pink, I got the deep burgundy, I got the purple, and the white. And then my new garden bed is just doing so very, very nice. You know, this is like the perfect time of the season to where everything is doing really good. It's just so lovely. And this makes it all worth it. Like I said, guys, look at those crepe myrtles. Isn't that beautiful? It just really sets the tone back here. But just more of the back garden just looking lush and full, and I'm just like really, really happy with how everything is looking back here. And then my crabapple profusions, you know, like I said, I'm trying to create more shade in my garden, you know, because this does get a lot of sun back here. And everything is just looking so fantastic. My daylilies, I'm gonna go ahead and pull these sticks out, but as you can see, as I had told you, when you pull it back and you end up getting new shoots. Here's a better example of a new shoot that's coming on. So I'll just clip that. But yeah, everything is just looking so amazing. And then look here, guys, over here where my impatiens are doing so well. And I have my broomstrucks tucked back there. And these guys also get another flush that comes through. But look at those, that rich color. And then my Persian shields are tucked back there. But one thing, like I said, with gardening that you learn, you know, before the impatiens took over, I will think twice about what I'm gonna put back here. And then of course, all of my containers that are doing so well. This was the new hanging basket that I had done. But yeah, I just can't get over the crepe myrtles. That is probably one of my favorite views when these guys come into full bloom.
Deborah, your crepe myrtles, oh my goodness, that is such a beautiful backdrop. I bet your kids or your grandkids, when they're playing on that playground, play structure, and then having the crepe myrtles in the background, I hope you're taking a ton of pictures. It's beautiful. And your hydrangeas are gorgeous. I love your garden. It is beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. All right, let's head over to Oklahoma now to Diane's garden. She gardens in Luther, Oklahoma. She does have a Facebook page called Scapes and Paints, and I will link that down below. Diane says the plants that thrive in her Oklahoma Zone 7 garden are yarrow, nepeta, iris, daylily, ornamental grasses, salvia, and bluebonnets. She says she wishes she could plant hosta and astilbe, but it just doesn't work. The biggest challenge she faces is deer, and her piece of advice to everybody was to keep trying and don't give up. So take a look at Diane's garden right here. First off, these roses. Diane, let us know in the comment section what variety of roses these are, because they're beautiful. That's my pink color. I love that pink color. And I love, love, love how beautiful that arbor looks with them growing all over it. She then sent in this picture. I think these are bluebonnets. Don't quote me. I'm not totally sure. I'm not totally sure. I'm sure everyone's gonna say it in the comment section, but they're beautiful. The color, that's like a true blue flower. So then I wanted to show you all Diane's smoke bush tree. We have these a lot in our area, and I think that they're so pretty, and they can be pruned to be in a tree form. If you look closely at Diane's tree right here, you can see that she has pruned off everything at the bottom to make this more of a tree, and it looks beautiful because then she can plant underneath it, and then she still gets the interest of the smoke bush. And then look at Diane's greenhouse behind there. That is gorgeous. That is beautiful. I'm jealous. I love it so much. Here's another view of that smoke bush tree. I think this is the same day. Maybe a little later in the season. And then just some other plants. I see some salvia back there, salvia leucanthemum, and then also some gomphrena. So Diane, your garden is beautiful. I love it so much. Thank you so much for sharing it with us. All right, now we have another YouTuber. Her name is Julia, and her YouTube channel is Julia's Garden 1. She gardens out of Pleasant Grove, Utah, and she is zones 7A. So she says the plants that thrive in her garden are roses. Every time the roses are in bloom, which is almost always, lucky, I feel like the garden is alive. I rarely have to do anything to them to keep them healthy, and they are so consistent in performing beautifully. She loves her lavender. It does really well in their hot and dry climate. She loves her allium. They come back so strong every year, and she looks forward to their summer blooms. And then she loves her yarrow. She says it's also so easy to grow, brings beautiful color for so much of the season. And she says you can grow it from seed. She says she grows alliums from seed as well. The biggest challenge that she faces in her Utah garden is the soil. She says the land where she lives was once a riverbed, which means rocks. Lots and lots of rocks and huge boulders. Every time I plant something, I'm removing them. It has definitely been a work in progress to try and turn our dirt into beautiful planting soil. But I have learned that even subpar dirt can still grow beautiful things. And if you're consistent on working on your soil, it will eventually get there. So her piece of advice for other Zone 7 gardeners is that Zone 7 is a pretty adaptable zone. I would agree with you with that. That's probably like a nice middle range zone. She says it's okay to push the boundaries a little bit and try things you normally wouldn't. You don't really know what will work for you and what won't until you try it. Also in my area, we are hot and dry. Drip irrigation is a must and a game changer for your garden. Just do it. So I think that that's really good to point out. Think of where I kind of went. I started in New Jersey, went down the East Coast, and then now I'm coming across, and we're going from a really wet garden that has trouble growing Russian sage to a really dry garden where yarrow and lavender thrives. But they're all zone 7. So just because you're zone 7, kind of dig a little bit deeper and think about the microclimates in that zone. USDA zones are helpful, but only to a certain point. You have to know a little bit more. All right, so let's watch Julia's video right now.
Hello, Janie. Thank you so much for letting us share our gardens on your channel. This is my front garden bed in the very early spring. This is it a little bit later on when I have some more blooms. I have these beautiful hanging baskets on my front porch that I just got from Home Depot. They're full of Supertunia, Bordeaux, and a few other plants, and they did wonderful all season long. And then I have my front garden bed a little bit later on in the summer when it's really full. In the front, I also have this Litchfield Angel rose surrounded by these beautiful delphiniums. And then I have this geum called Petticoat's Peach. Such a wonderful plant. It looks very antique-y to me, and I just want it all over the garden. And I also have this dianthus called Cheddar Pinks. For me, it just provides that bright pop that sometimes we really need in the garden. And then on my steps, I have this Veronica called Waterberry Blue. I love how it cascades over the boulders and the steps. And then my front bed is put away for the fall. I had it mulched, I had the plants cleaned up, and then for the hanging baskets, I actually switched them out and I put in some pale yellow pansies and a heucherella. It was a really pretty look, I thought. And in the back, we actually decided to put in a cut flower garden this year. This is some before pictures. It was so exciting for me. And then I started everything from seed indoors, which was the first time I was successful at that. And then we put them in, we gated it in with an arbor, and they just started to grow, and it was so fun and exciting to watch. On the arbor, I actually put the Eden Climber roses, which Janie, I know you have those too. It is such a beautiful rose. And then this is what the cut flower garden looked like. It just exploded, and I was able to do so much with it. And then these were some bouquets that I put together. I just thought they were so fun and pretty. And then this is, again, in the fall, all cleaned up, ready to be put away for winter. So anyways, Janie, thank you so much for letting us share our gardens. It was so fun.
Julia, your cut flower garden. I have to say, that's not a big cut flower garden. That looks pretty similar to the size that I used to grow on in my last property. And it's amazing how much you can get with a really not a huge space. So I am so proud of you for doing that and making it look so beautiful, and your arrangements are gorgeous. So again, her YouTube channel is Julia's Garden 1. I will link it in the description down below. Okay, so next garden, we're going international. So just remember that USDA zones, they just correspond to a minimum temperature of whatever zone you're in. So we're talking about zone 7. Zone 7A, the minimum temperature is 5 degrees Fahrenheit. So if you live anywhere in the world and you can figure out what your minimum temperature is, you can figure out what the USDA zone corresponds to. So those of us in the States, that's how we describe our gardens, is by the USDA zones. I don't love it because, like I said, it's not very specific, but that's just how we do it. So anyway, we are going all the way to Budapest to Sylvia's garden in zone 7, what corresponds to USDA zone 7. So Sylvia says the plants that thrive in her garden are rose, lavender, aster, hostas, phlox, zinnia, ornamental grasses, strawberry, raspberry, fig, apple, tulips, daffodils, tagetes. I'm not sure what that is. I'll have to look that up. Angara, and then another one, aquil. I'm going to put a picture and then the name of it right here. So she says the plants that she wishes she could plant, but she just can't, are hydrangeas. They're too dry, and rhododendrons. She has clay limestone soil. The biggest challenges that she faces in her Budapest garden is drought, atmospheric dryness, and large annual fluctuations in temperature. If she could give one piece of advice to other gardeners in her zone, she says it would be to plant roses. They bloom from April to December, and to decorate the garden in winter too. She says she can use pansy, erica, brassica. They perform very well in zone 7 in the winters. So let's start with taking a look at Sylvia's garden in the winter. Look at how beautiful this tree is in the winter. Talk about winter interest. This is gorgeous. But then if you go into spring or summer, whatever it is, here are the roses that she's talking about. She says they bloom from April on. They're gorgeous, Sylvia. They're really, really beautiful. Then I gasped when I saw this photo. It has the alliums in the back, and then it has the columbine in the front. And it's so very pretty. This is a frameable photo. My friends and I, we say that's a frameable photo. That one right there is definitely a frameable photo. Here's some more roses that she has that are obviously happy as a clam. And then this is her little walkway. I think this is her front yard, but I just love it. I love how you've just lined that. There's the lavender, there's the roses. They're gorgeous. They are so beautiful, and that looks like a weeping cherry over there. What a beautiful garden, and how fun is it to see a garden from Budapest that corresponds to zone 7. It's really, really interesting, and thank you so much for submitting these. All right, we are going to head all the way back to the States now. We're going to go to Tennessee to Leslie's garden. She gardens in zone 7A, and Leslie sent in a ton of photos. They're great. They're before and afters. I will show you those to you in a second, but first I want to give you guys the answers that she gave to my questions. So first of all, the plants that thrive in her garden, she says her favorite plant is Blue Shadow Fothergilla. She says the silvery blue foliage is breathtaking. It has wonderful fall color and flowers in the spring. She also says it's her first year with bobo hydrangeas. She's loving them. They turned a beautiful pink, and she has a grouping of 5. When I asked her what plants she can't plant in her garden, she says the Japanese beetles love roses, and I don't want to battle those in my garden. So instead of spraying, she chooses other plants that are not affected by those. So it's interesting that, some zone 7 gardeners can grow roses no problem, some not going to happen. So the biggest challenges she faces in her garden, and when I read this, I was like commiserating with you, Leslie. So she says, my flower beds are a lasagna of nightmare layers. The previous homeowners put down a thick weed barrier over the clay soil and then mulch and or garden soil on top of that. Then I'm assuming a different homeowner came in with black trash bags and lava rocks, then more mulch on top of the lava rocks. So every time she wants to plant in a new location, she has to take out all that junk, and then she amends her clay soil. And she says eventually she'll get to the point where the all of it will be removed. But don't feel bad, Leslie. I'm dealing with the same thing in my garden, and it's going to take some time. And I'm trying not to get frustrated about it. So try the same. So the piece of advice that she would have for her garden, and I loved this advice. I thought this was really, really good advice. She says she has a newer garden, and she loves to use annuals as see if I like it plants. So basically, if she thinks she wants a permanent plant somewhere with red foliage, first, she plants an annual, like an annual coleus with red foliage. And then she can decide over that year if she likes the spot with the red foliage there. I think that that is a great idea, and it makes it so that you don't have to invest all that time and money in a shrub of, green foliage or red foliage, whatever it is, and then change your mind and have to start all over. So I think that that was really, really good advice. And then the second bit of advice she has is if you have clay soil, use the hardwood soil conditioner to eventually improve the soil. So let's take a look at her photos right now. All right, so here is Leslie's garden in 2017. It's a bit of a mess, yes, Leslie, but that's okay. Let me show you some after pictures that she has. Look at what an amazing job she did. They're beautiful. I love that she's gotten all the foliage colors. She's got the green, she's got the red, she's got the variegated, she's got the blue. It looks beautiful. Really, really good texture. Then I wanted to show you all this picture. You can see that red coleus in the background. So she can see, just like she was saying, use annuals as a see if I like it plant and see if she wants some more red shrubs or something like that back there. Here is another picture. Looks like she has, I think those are supertunias or calabrocoas, some alliums, some daisies, really, really pretty. Here is what I think is her blue Fothergilla, that one that she said that she loves so much. And it's really, really pretty. It's a gorgeous plant. I'm obviously not familiar with it at all, but now I'm gonna look into it and see if I can plant it. She's got some foxgloves, and then another plant that she said she loves is the El Brido coleus from Proven Winners. You can see a big swath of them right here, and they're beautiful. Seeing this makes me want to plant them in my garden next year, and I think I will. And then finally in this last picture, you can see she has some gladiolus in the back that are gorgeous, and then that looks like Supertunia Vista, or not Vista. I want it to be a Vista, but it's not. Supertunia persimmon, which was new last year. It did so very well for me in my garden, and what Proven Winners told me is that it was going to be a Vista, but it just missed out because it didn't have that climbing, latticing growth habit, but otherwise it acts like a vista. So it's a really, really great Supertunia. So anyway, Leslie, I just wanted to say thank you so much for submitting these photos. You have done a beautiful job in your garden. All things considered, with everything you're dealing with, you have done a great job. It's gorgeous, and I can't wait to see how it progresses over the years, so keep us updated. So thank you so much. Next garden is Zone 7B, and this is in North Carolina. Our gardener's name is Lisa. Lisa, your garden is beautiful. So first of all, she says the plants that thrive in her garden are Veronica, Penstemon, Phlox, Shasta daisies, hosta, sedum, Purple Queen, Daylily, Brennera, Spirea, Loripedilum, Juniper, and Abilia. She says that she would say she couldn't plant conifers, but she recently saw a video that was posted in her zone, and they had beautiful conifers in his yard, so she just needs to try soil amendments and try it again. The biggest challenges she faces are spider mites, Japanese beetles, deer, and moles. And then the advice she gave to all of us for Zone 7 is take lots of pics of your garden and refer back when it's time to improve and make changes for the next growing season. This year, my goal was to rearrange some things and add some more late blooming plants so I would find my garden more pleasing in August and September. And that is great, great advice. I always tell people, take video, take photos every single month, even if you think nothing's changed, because it has. So let's take a look at Lisa's garden. Holy cow, it is gorgeous. So the first thing that I noticed in this garden, in Lisa's garden, was the color. So Lisa has stuck to a beautiful color palette of whites, pinks, purples, blues, and then different foliage colors like this lemon coral sedum, this blue dianthus, this dark, I think that's a penstemon right there. Man, you have done such a beautiful job, Lisa. And it's so amazing because I think it takes so much restraint to plant only certain colors, but you can see what a beautiful, beautiful finished product it makes when you do stick within a color scheme. I can't do it. I just want all the colors and I throw all the colors in. And so that's what my garden looks like. But you can see how beautiful her garden is. So this arbor that she has right here, and then she has more heuchera right there. She has, let's see, those look like dianthus again. I'm not, or asters, not totally sure. Some hostas underneath the trees. It is just a beautiful garden and the colors are to die for. Veronica, I mean, I'm impressed. Good job, Lisa. You've done a great job. Adding more fall interest and winter interest, absolutely. But what you have in your garden right now is gorgeous. So thank you so much for sharing with us. All right, so that is it for our Zone 7 gardens today. I just want to thank all of you who submitted. I got a ton more submissions and they were so beautiful. Your gardens are gorgeous. I just couldn't add all of them in because, you know, I don't want this video to be too long, but I am planning to do more of these videos as I have time. I will keep your submissions, don't worry, you know, and I'll probably do it again. I'll probably announce it again in the spring or summer when all of our gardens are more awake. And so you actually can take a video at the time. So Zone 7, you really showed up. You showed us your gardens. I love seeing all the different Zone 7s. Some of them are really humid and some of them are really wet. Some of them are really dry. It's just so interesting to me to see the difference in one specific zone. So I hope you all got as much inspiration as I did. Stay tuned for the next video, which is Zone 8. Again, I will put all of these videos in a Show Me Your Gardens playlist in my playlist section down below. And I will link all of the social media accounts for the content creators that sent in and wanted me to give them a shout out. I will link that in the description down below. So I hope you all enjoyed this and I hope you all have a chance to get in your garden today.